Hey there traders, checking in on the stock market today. Hourly trend changes, confirming an extended hours, getting the daily higher lows set and bounces going. So now we zoom out and look for daily lower highs to be set over the next couple of days. Let's check out some clues as to what to be looking for as we anticipate these tightening ranges.
Introducing the Chart Guy's Swing Report, a weekly digital publication that uses technical analysis to identify long-term market opportunities. Understand the market from a swing trade perspective. Follow institutional money as it rotates from sector to sector, and make the most of the Swing Report's weekly trade opportunities, with key entry and exit levels provided. Performance is tracked and updated weekly. For more information, visit us at chartguys.com. Now, let's check out some charts.
So we ended yesterday without hourly trend changes being confirmed, but that happened in extended hours as we saw SPY open higher. So at that point, we know our daily higher low is set at 350.51. And because that resistance level that we pulled back from is so far away, we're going to anticipate the most likely scenario is a daily lower high compared to that recent top. Now the difference here in SPY is the top was hit in extended hours. So that was 366.77. And during regular trading hours, it got up to 364.38. That's almost a 1% difference. That's pretty significant. And if you look at it on the futures chart, you've got 4-hour time frame, high, low, and now we're watching for a lower high compared to 36.75. There's a lot of space for that to form, and we're continuing to watch the shift between our sectors. It's clearly been fairly inverse this week between the tech sector, the Qs, and XLF, and XLV has been pulling back for the most part as well, and we saw weakness in QQQ Monday, and then to start yesterday, then the bounce got going. Since that bounce has gotten going from yesterday midday into today, through today, we've been watching the financial sector start to consolidate a little bit. So always watching that inverse relationship and watching to see when they start linking up again, if they are going to. So on IWM, inside bar bull break, not very convincing. Again, look at the 4-hour time frame here. Put extended hours on. We've got our high, and where we're just watching these little 4-hour higher lows, the EMA support. The hourly uptrend is essentially our guide on a lot of individual names. And when we lose the hourly uptrend, our daily lower high is likely set. So we're in a scenario where we had not a clear hourly uptrend established just yet until the end of the day right here. And I took off extended hours, and you can see low of the pullback, high of the bounce, higher low, another higher low into the end of today, just starting to break resistance into the close, and I would need a break of 173.48 if we're going to see some follow through there. But again, like the S&P 500, that resistance level where we topped out on Monday of 178.10 is still a good bit of a ways away. That's a solid 4% plus from where we stand right now, 3.5%. So we're watching that as the most important resistance level in the short term. QQQ. So daily higher low is set, 280.62. Anything under 299.14 is a daily lower high. We closed nice and strong. We ended the day with a little hourly bull flag. And as long as the hourly uptrend remains, we're not going to be looking for that daily lower high. Can we just V-shape and keep going to a new all-time high? Or I should say back to test that all-time high. That's a possibility, but if that's going to happen, in my opinion, we will have to see notable bull volume for that to be the case. In the absence of notable bull volume, we're scouting a daily lower high compared to 299.14. And if I want to be an aggressive bear, or if I want to hedge perhaps a long-term portfolio, I am looking at this bounce to potentially look to enter that position. Hourly time frame, anything above 288.52 is just an hourly higher low, keeping the bulls in control. But over the next day or two, we're going to be watching for the potential of that daily lower high, and we would be watching for something along these lines to shape up into next week. Healthcare, we've closed lower than we've opened the last 5 days in a row. That being said, bulls are still holding gains for the most part. We've got a higher low at 109.21, another support level 110.07. Hourly trend is not very clear at all. It's definitely choppy right now. So I'm just watching these little daily higher lows. And if we lose those little daily higher lows, we'll be watching for the potential of weekly consolidation to then be underway at that point. And again, we're watching some uptrend resistance lines on some of these sectors. We'll see where we close this week. And let's go all the way back here and hit this line as well. Perhaps back testing and holding support, actually. Gapping up above this uptrending resistance line and now trying to hold it on the way back down. Financial sector. So keeping gains as well, but just getting a little bit toppy. We defended support at the end of today with a double bottom at 26.88. If 26.88 breaks tomorrow, we confirm an hourly downtrend. And that confirms that we look for a daily higher low. Tons of space for it to form. But that would be notable to me if the financial sector starts consolidating, and we'd be watching to see what does QQQ do in response. Does QQQ keep surging on its bounce while XLF pulls back? SPY was a little bit choppy this morning while QQQ and XLF were doing their positioning. You can see a fairly limited range on the day today for SPY, and we did have bond markets closed to potentially be a reason for that. Remembrance Day in Canada. On to XBI. XBI, most important short-term resistance, 124.48, 126. And again, if you go back to Monday and think about the way things felt and how significant it shifted for the tech sector, for the biotech sector since then, it just keeps reminding us, as long as we're looking for daily higher lows, we can't be afraid to be buying these dips. So the biotech sector has a little bit of a base down at 119, just under 119. And if we break resistance of 124.48, we're looking right back at that all-time high. So bears not really getting any kind of follow-through on this daily consolidation. Semiconductors, same thing. They looked really weak yesterday, but just like that, a massive bounce. SMH went from a close at the low of yesterday to a close at the high of today, and that swing in a 24-hour period is a 3.5% bounce. And you look at NVDA, and it had a massive bounce off that low of yesterday as well, 6%. So again, a name like NVDA, definitely looking for a daily lower high compared to 587.66. And that bear volume does stand out to me, so that increases the odds of looking for that daily lower high. And the same thing for SMH. That resistance, 202.89, is still 3% away, and we've already bounced over 3%. So we're going to be watching for the potential of a lower high compared to that level. If we're going to break 202.89 on this test, increasing notable bull volume will be needed. TAN daily higher low is set 70.40. Resistance is 80.86. Again, that's a ways away, almost 8-9%. So we're looking for a daily lower high compared to 80.86 from here. Some names are not as likely to see daily lower highs as others. Look at Apple closing at the high of the day, and our last resistance level here, our most recent resistance, I should say, is 2% away. But you look at Amazon and its resistance, even though we closed strong and it got its bounce going, that resistance level is over 7% away. So again, not everybody is created equal, and not everybody's going to be doing the same thing, but there are some names that are a lot more likely than others to be scouting daily lower highs on. The VIX, double low back down at 22.40, and we would have to see a break over 26.80 to shift this short-term momentum. But as of right now, volatility falling. This is one of the steeper drop-offs that we've seen in volatility coming from a bull break. We had something similar back here, but this is a bit more magnified, because even here we went, from 21 to 38 and then back down to 25. Here we went from 41 straight down to 22. So it's a little bit extended to the downside in the short term, which is worth paying attention to. Again, I'm not really a volatility trader, but let's see if we start to shift some short-term momentum off of that base that's attempting to form there. Let's look at UVXY real quick, see if it's got a base. So trying to set a higher low compared to 12.18. Hourly chart tightening up a bit. Gold, not really much bounce followed through. We rejected from 4-hour EMA 12 resistance. Bulls are playing defense. We defended the low at 18.50, but they're not doing anything on offense. And if we do not break 18.91, bulls prove nothing to us in the short term. So holding support, yes. Breaking resistance, no. And that's keeping the metals bears confident in the short term as long as that is the case. Silver, again, standing out a bit stronger than gold. Look at silver's resistance of 24.50, and we are 1% away from that resistance. Gold, as far as its resistance is concerned, we are more than 1% away. So silver holding up a bit better, but in the same boat. Miners trying to get a bounce going. Daily higher low trying to be set compared to 36. We have to change the hourly trend to the bulls, and it looks like just started to shift that way. If we break the high of today tomorrow, 37.26, our daily higher low will be set. And again, due to the size of the pullback, we will certainly be looking for a daily lower high to form on that bounce. Tons of range there. Bearish reversal candle on the daily time frame for oil after breaking 42.02 resistance. That's a notable bull break, and it increases the odds that our monthly higher low is being set. 4-hour time frame still in an uptrend, looking for a 4-hour higher low to be set. If we're going to have any confidence in daily consolidation, we will have to lose the 4-hour uptrend, and then we just zoom out and look for a daily higher low, anything above 37.06. But a very impressive V-shaped bounce from that low just a week and a half ago. Look at how significant that bounce is in such a short period of time. 8 days, we bounced 28% in oil. That's big. Natural gas, daily bounce, getting some follow through. We're scouting a daily lower high compared to 310. And if we do not drop down and break 265 from here, we know that weekly consolidation is going to remain very healthy. Could that be a weekly bull flag? Yes, that's absolutely possible. That size of a pullback compared to where we came from is not significant. And again, that's where you can use fibs to determine, is that healthy or is that a significant pullback? And you can see we have not even pulled back to the 382 retracement mark, which means it's definitely still healthy at this point. It's when we start to get to the 50% and beyond that we start scouting equilibriums to be favored instead of continuation. And that's both on the way up and on the way down when we're looking at potential bear flags. So overall, solid day for the bulls. And again, the broader market is not going to see significant fear as long as one of our major sectors is holding up on any given day. We know our big red days happen when all of our sectors are at their lows at the same time. So as long as QQQ is green while the financial sector pulls back and the healthcare sector with it, or vice versa, we know that's just healthy rotation going on. And unless everybody's going down, we're not seeing money flee the market. So overall, bulls in control, daily higher lows still being set, and some names starting to look the other way, starting to scout a daily lower high. So again, how I approach things, let's say tomorrow we get a little gap up open or just start the morning strong with some follow through. On a name like Amazon, if I haven't gone bullish yet, yesterday or today, I'm not going bullish. So I enter tomorrow and say, all right, I'm scouting for the daily lower high. I'll see if the hourly gives me a setup where I like to begin making entries for that possibility, but I do not like any bullish entries at this point because we've already bounced significantly enough off the low that I don't like the risk to reward, knowing that a daily lower high is the more likely scenario. So what would an hourly setup look like to be looking for the potential of a daily lower high being set? Again, it all depends on how the morning would shape up, but if we started a big bull move, I know that we're likely to form an hourly higher low next time we consolidate. So what I would want to be seeing is enough pullback on the hourly, on whatever name it is, for me to then anticipate, okay, I'm looking for an hourly lower high the next bounce, and I'm going to use the recent high as my stop. Because if that breaks, then I'm wrong. Our daily lower high has not been set. And if that doesn't break, then I'm right, and I get a really good risk to reward entry for a potential loss of that hourly uptrend. So that's just a rough example. I'm not actively scouting a short in Amazon, but that is how I would be approaching scouting these lower highs and watching hourly time frames. So on a day like today, QQQ bulls had control all morning, and we know that the next time we pull back, we're just looking for an hourly high or low because of the amount of space that the bulls have to work with. So tomorrow will be very telling as far as what kind of follow through we get, or whether we do start seeing the bulls tire out and looking for that daily lower high to potentially be set. Cryptocurrency testing its recent high for Bitcoin, so the bull's still out there. And that's that. Have a good rest of your day. Do good things. We will check back in tomorrow establish your game plans. Let's go to a trade review. We had a lot of good trades today. Let's talk psychology instead of a trade review. So Monday, I talked in the market video about how I was frazzled. It just was overwhelming. The amount of the snow globe shaking up, and everything swirling around. Where's money going? Massive changes are going on. Correlations are shifting. I was overwhelmed by the end of the day, and I wanted to get off the computer and stay far away from it. Since then, it's been very, very clear and very, very contained. It's almost like things settled in. The little flakes in the snow globe drop back down to the ground, and there's been a lot of clarity. We had that great head and shoulders on the 5-minute time frame leading to hourly consolidation on QQQ yesterday. Tons of nice and clear setups today. One of them that was a really good one was PENN setup, bigger term, longer term time frame, bounce from yesterday. No hourly trend change. We know we're going to have to consolidate on the hourly today, most likely, and we got that this morning. So we pulled back. We have tons of space to form an hourly higher low compared to the low of yesterday. So I zoom in and I look for clues. What are some clues that our hourly higher low is being set? And I looked and I saw a falling wedge on the 2-minute time frame, which shows bear exhaustion as lower lows are not getting follow through, and posted that at about 10:40 in the morning. And then we got that bull break and very significant follow through of about 4% from that hourly higher low being set. Aside from that, we were watching NIO for a play off the low of yesterday first thing. That low of yesterday was 38.11. Again, it was another name that did not change the hourly trend from yesterday. Massive bounce from the low of yesterday to the high of the bounce. Morning weakness. We are just looking for an hourly higher low to form compared to the low of yesterday. Unfortunately, I missed that dip because I wanted a break of 38.50, and then I was going to make my entry. Missed it by 14 cents. V-shaped, massive bounce in response, but a nice hold of that support, and it was a nice trade setup. It just was, I missed by that much, which is just fine, as there'll always be another one. So as I was reflecting this week on what was going on, why was I in a bad mood and frazzled on Monday? I had a small red day on Monday. I was down, 1.5 day maker on my SPY and my GLD swing position that I entered, and I think I had a 1-day trade for a loss. So I reflect and I say, okay, is that the reason why I'm feeling upset? Because that would be a major red flag. If I'm in a bad mood because I had a red day 10 years into my trading career, something would be wrong. So that's not a likely scenario. It wasn't a big loss or anything. So why am I frazzled one day and green the next? And I literally was I was walking around my yard, going through these steps in my head, checking myself. I have to keep myself in check. Why am I feeling these ways psychologically? Why was there such a significant shift from frazzled and frustrated Monday to clear and in the zone Tuesday? And what I pinpointed it to was just setups becoming nice and clear, and that clarity showing itself in my thought process. So keep yourself in check. Reflect back to psychologically what's going on in your head. And it takes that third person view. You have to step back as the observer and observe your thoughts. It's almost like there's multiple yous that are interacting here, and it takes the third you to look at what's going on at the other going-ons inside your brain. Keep yourself in check. Reflect. Look that ego in the face and say, "What's up, ego?" See you tomorrow. We had our first frost and the fig trees are getting ready for winter. So we got our kale on the left, collards, a couple different varieties of some butter lettuce, and this is all after picking it the last 2 days, so I clearly have more than I need. Dill, some Chinese spinaches, cabbage. Cabbage is doing way better in here than it ever did outside because there's way less to eat it. So that's the takeaway here. Cabbage in the fall in the greenhouse. And radishes. And onions. For lunch today, it's some bone broth soup. And then all these greens cooked down with some onions. Delish. These peppers sure went a long time, but the frost took them out as well. We're about to have 70-degree weather for the next week, so still not really hitting winter. Good old boy Bob, the neighbor, came out with his big toys and helped me rebuild the driveway with a bunch of crushed concrete, and he fixed this up real nice. And the lesson is, I let this creek bank get all overgrown, and there were some really cool wild pollinators that grew here, but it became too thick and the water rushed it, and in a ball it blocked up that drain, and then everything around the drain eroded away. So I will have to keep this creek bed contained, and just ordered at 4 a.m. in the morning Saturday night 300 bulbs, and we'll plant a whole bunch of cool flowers along these creek beds for the spring.